Oh, what's going on, guys? SteelTwins back at you with a 4-round mock draft.
Yeah, man. Now, we're not going to lie. This mock was originally supposed to not include, or this mock wasn't, or this was originally going to be a mock that didn't include an Antonio Brown trade, but after the recent news that Antonio Brown has officially requested a trade, I mean, it's kind of hard to create a mock without an AB trade. Now, him requesting a trade doesn't necessarily mean that he will be traded, but if the Steelers are smart, then they would trade him. I mean, for some reason, he's not happy here, which I don't know why. I mean, he's with an elite quarterback. He is still getting his stats, nonetheless, even with Juju, bombing and everything. I don't know why he's not happy here. I don't know what is up with Antonio Brown. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what changed him, but
if he wants traded, fine. I don't care. I really don't.
I'm actually kind of happy he requested a trade, honestly, because now if Art Rooney, Mike Tomlin, Kevin Colbert aren't calling teams, or if they're not looking at offers right now, then I don't know what's up. Really.
Yeah, really. So.
I love Antonio Brown as a player. He has been a fantastic player. I will forever be grateful for what he did. Every time I look at his highlights, man, I'll smile and everything, but at the same time, I'll be disappointed that it's come to this. It's a damn shame it's come to this, but this is a fucking business, man. Players come and go all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
So time to move on, man, seriously. So with that being said, the Steelers trade Antonio Brown to the Carolina Panthers for their second-round pick, the 47th overall pick. Why the Panthers? Because we're not sure if they're going to resign Devin Funches. He might be hitting for agency, so they're going to be without a number one since DJ Moore is coming to a second year after a decent rookie year, and Curtis Samuel is still a slot guy in my opinion. So they really have no determined number one. And Cam Newton and Antonio Brown are like workout BFFs.
So they have some communication there when it comes to them practicing, I guess.
Right. So I could definitely see the Carolina Panthers making a stellar offer. And now I would still like us to try to get a first-round pick out of Antonio Brown, but after all his recent bullshit and everything, I just don't see it happening. I mean, I would love to happen, but I just don't see it.
After everything that's happened with Antonio Brown and his drama issues, we're not getting a first.
Right.
I'm being real with you. If anything, we can try to get at least a mid-second.
Yeah.
At least.
We said a few mocks ago that Antonio Brown's value being nothing more than a second-round pick is bullshit. But after everything, I mean, it's kind of hard seeing us get a first-rounder. So I think a second-round pick is just probably the highest we'll get right now.
I mean, you got to think. Antonio Brown's about to turn 31. He's got a big contract. No one's going to want to give up a first-round pick for an aging freaking receiver.
Not only that, but his drama as well.
Exactly. The drama adds a lot to it.
Now his age and everything may play a factor, but he's still a very consistent wide receiver. So, but the only thing that will bring it down is his drama and his bullshit that he's applied to this team for the past
no
few
team's
years.
going to get rid of a first-round pick. Maybe a second.
Right.
So that's why we have us trading Brown to the Panthers for their second-round pick.
Right. So. Now, the Steelers also trade Marcus Gilbert to the Houston Texans. They badly needed offensive line help. Didn't they allow, the most sacks last year?
60 sacks on Deshaun Watson.
God.
They desperately need offensive line help. So we trade Gilbert to the Texans for their third-round pick.
The 86th overall pick. I like Marcus Gilbert. I think he can be an elite offensive tackle in this league. But the issue is that not only is he aging, not only does he have a big contract, but he can't stay healthy.
He is injury prone. He can't stay healthy.
I
believe throughout the last 2 seasons he only started 16 games.
Yeah, and honestly, I feel like that our offensive line has performed more inferior, more stellar without him. With Chuck Scorfor and Matt Fuller stepping in for him, and even with Chris Hubbard a few years back.
Exactly.
So I honestly feel like that. Now I'm not taking anything away from Gilbert, but I feel like our offensive line is a little bit more stellar without Gilbert. Right. I think we'll do just fine. We'll sign Matt Fuller to a possible 1-year extension, and Chuck Scorfor still on his rookie contract, so we'll have them battle, and that'd be a very interesting offensive tackle battle for the right tackle starting position.
Exactly.
In training camp. So
we get something out of Gilbert.
Right. Now on to the mock. The 20th. With the 20th pick in the 2019 NFL Draft, the Pittsburgh Steelers select Devon White. It's our linebacker out of LSU. Now, him lasting to number 20, depending on who you talk to, may be very
unlikely, but it's still very possible.
Yes, because now I feel like Devon White is a top 10, top 5 pick, but the first top 5 picks will more likely be all defensive linemen at least. Maybe throw a quarterback in there. The first 4 picks definitely need offensive linemen, which is the Cardinals, the Niners, the Jets, and the Raiders.
Right.
They're all probably going to get defensive linemen, unless there's a trade, of course. But I can definitely see Devon White dropping number 20. Now, the only team I can see picking him up that, like, if he doesn't go in the top 10, the only team I can see picking him up possibly is the Bengals, but they still need offensive line help. They could use some receiver help as well. Well, maybe not receiver because A.J. Green's still there. Tyler Boyd's still there, of course. John Ross is a decent slot guy. I mean, they could use some tight end help as well. Maybe they go get T.J. Hockenson.
Yeah, maybe
another corner, maybe another defensive lineman. Who knows?
Well, they're gonna need something for defense. I'll tell you that.
Yes. So
their defense just got awful.
Yes.
But Devon White bizarre shit has happened in the draft before. I mean, look at Aaron Rodgers. We all thought that he was top 10 caliber, and then he dropped like to mid to late first round to the Packers.
And the way I see it, man.
And look at Miles Jack. He dropped to the second round. Look how he is now.
Well, granted, he had injuries. But
he had injuries, yes, but he dropped down because of that.
But one thing that really clicks in my mind was Derwin James last year. I don't know how the fuck he fell to the Chargers. So
bizarre shit has happened in the draft with top prospects dropping down. So Devon White could very well be another one of them players.
Absolutely. And if he drops to number 20, it is an absolute fucking no-brainer. I don't care who is on the board. Devon White at number 20 is a no-brainer. I feel like that is the pick to go if he is still there. He is arguably, in my opinion, the best linebacker in this draft class. Like, he is so fucking explosive. He has incredible speed, great covering ability, nice tackling ability, the sideline speed that we obviously need and that we haven't had since Shazier. This guy would be the perfect replacement for Shazier, man. He has all the tools to be a great inside linebacker in this league.
Absolutely. And this guy reminds me a lot of Patrick Willis.
Yeah, and he's another good run stuffer as well.
Exactly.
So I feel like this guy, if he drafts at number 20, I think he's a no-brainer. Seriously.
Without a doubt.
So, yeah. With the 47th overall pick, which is the Panthers pick, of course, the Pittsburgh Steelers select Amani Oruwariye, cornerback out of Penn State. We obviously need cornerback. Already bust. Sucks. Kai sense ball. I would be up for resigning him, but he is not a starter. He is nothing but more than a backup, in my opinion. And we obviously need youth at the cornerback position, and we need someone fresh and hungry, opposite of Joe Hayden, of course. And I think Oruwariye applies all that. Not only that, he has some decent height to him, nice speed. He's a ball hawk. You know, he has incredible ball skills, so he has all the tools to be a very nice corner for the Steelers, man. And not only that, Tom Bradley, our defensive backs coach, did coach for Penn State, so he does have that little connection with Oruwariye, which could help us develop him into a nice corner, because obviously the Steelers developing corners the last decade has not been stellar, obviously. So you bring in Oruwariye, who was from Penn State, and Tom Bradley, who just transferred from Penn State to our defensive back coach, could be a perfect mix, honestly.
Yeah, really.
So, yeah. With the 52nd overall pick, the Pittsburgh Steelers select Hakeem Butler, wide receiver out of Iowa State. Now, we would need to replace Tony Brown, of course, since we trade him. I am not going to sleep on James Washington whatsoever. You know, the way I see it, you know, everyone's saying that James Washington is already a bust and everything. I disagree. You know, after Ben Roethlisberger pretty much threw him under the bus and everything after that Broncos game, he went on to have the best stretch of games he's had in his rookie season, and those were in some pretty clutch games against the Patriots and the Bengals, man. If that's not fighting through adversity, I don't know what the fuck is. Exactly. So you imagine him developing into a second year and definitely possibly going to take the advantage with Antonio Brown's situation. I'm not going to sleep on James Washington whatsoever, and I would love to see James Washington and Juju together, man.
Absolutely. And if you think about it, some of the best receivers of all time didn't start off so spectacular.
Exactly.
They had to develop a bit. Steve Smith, Larry Fitzgerald, Calvin Johnson.
Exactly. So
they developed. They learned from their rookie season. Look what they did.
Right. You know, they get their feet wet a little bit, then their second year, man. You know, I can definitely see James Washington having a very nice, stellar breakout second year. And we could put him in the slot and everything, and then we could put Hakeem Butler, or if we want, you know, Juju can obviously play in the slot because that's where he got some reps last year, and that's where he made some of his plays was in the slot. So
Juju was dynamic in the slot.
Yeah,
so you could have Hakeem Butler and James Washington on the outside with Juju in the slot. That is a scary wide receiver threat.
Trio, or of course you can have Hakeem Butler and Juju outside, and then James Washington slot. So we can have some fun mixed matches with the wide receiver trio.
Exactly, and Hakeem Butler in himself, 6'6". That's all you need to know. He is 6'6".
He is an absolute fucking mismatch to anybody.
He's got strong hands.
His yards after catch is incredible.
His route running is spectacular.
He actually has some great speed for his fucking size. I mean, this guy is incredible. This guy is a mismatch with everything, man. His size, his speed, his 50-50 balls, man. His hands, his yards after catch. It's incredible, man. Hakeem Butler in the second round would be a fucking great replacement for Antonio Brown. And Ben loves them tall receivers.
And you know how we develop wide receivers.
Imagine this guy, 6'6", with this offense. It's incredible.
It would be fantastic.
With all the upside he has, man. Just imagine. Seriously.
Now, with the 83rd overall pick.
This one might surprise you a little bit, but I can see it.
We select Bryce Love, running back out of Stanford.
This guy, unfortunately, did tear his ACL back in December and everything, so he's definitely going to drop, man.
Yeah, coming into the draft, he was projected to be the best running back in this draft class. Now that he suffered this injury, he's definitely going to drop down.
And that's sad to see because I'm really high on Bryce Love and everything. Now, he was projected to be a top guy to win the Heisman last year, but unfortunately, he had a pretty underwhelming year. Didn't even reach 1,000 yards and everything. However, for what he had, him being banged up and everything, he still did have a pretty decent season before getting injured and everything. And I think we can fucking steal him in the third. That would be an absolute fucking steal. And the way I see it, man, we need to start establishing the rushing game a little more. So imagine James Conner, Jalen Samuels, and Bryce Love. Can you imagine that fucking rushing offense, that rushing trio, that rushing game? We might have arguably the best backfield in the league, honestly.
Exactly.
Well, maybe not this upcoming season if we get Bryce Love, but down the road, potentially. I mean, it's crazy. And honestly, Jalen Samuels is very versatile. And with us getting his running back coach from NC State and everything as our running back coach, I mean, we could establish and utilize Jalen Samuels as a more versatile player, as a receiver, as a tight end, or whatever. And that's where we can have James Washington and Bryce Love as the number one, number two, man. We can be very creative with our rushing game. And honestly, I love Ben to death. I really do. He is forever my quarterback, and I trust him. But him aging, I don't know if I can really trust him as much as I used to, and with him making so many bad mistakes, especially last year and many turnovers, I think it's more trustworthy to establish a rushing game more, and not only take some pressure off of Ben, of course, but just establish this rushing more balance for this offense.
Exactly. If you remember our 6-game winning streak, what the heck did we do that led to those wins?
Running the ball.
What happened after we abandoned it? We lost.
Yes. And then you look at the Patriots game. Jalen Samuels, a 5th-round fucking pick. What did we do in that game? We mainly ran the ball. He had over 100 fucking yards, and it was one of the main drives, one of the main forces that helped us beat the fucking Patriots. The Patriots.
That's always been a thing with the Steelers. They've always been known for running the ball.
Exactly. So
we need to run the ball. Getting a guy like Bryce Love that just adds depth to the running back position and can split reps with Connor, take pressure off for Connor, would just make us even more deadly on offense.
And this guy can be a great goal line back or a third down back because this guy, has crazy speed to him. He has very nice vision. He fights for almost every yard he gets, man. Bryce Love would be a hell of a crazy pick in the third round. And honestly, a big steal if he were able to last, which I can see it with his injury.
Exactly.
Because honestly, now he might not be able to play, this upcoming season because of his injury occurring so late. However, if we make the playoffs, he might return in time for the playoffs, or he could take a full year to learn the playbook and everything, and then eventually, him and Connor can definitely get that 1-2 train rolling.
Exactly.
So,
either
way, I think it would be a very nice pick to help establish and utilize our rushing offense a little bit more, man.
Absolutely.
Now, with the 86th pick, the Houston Texans pick, the Pittsburgh Steelers select Isaac Nada, tight end out of Georgia, man.
Huge sleeper.
In my opinion, a very big sleeper.
Huge sleeper.
This guy was a big favorite and honestly could have won the John Mackey Award, but for some reason, man, the Bulldogs didn't give him many reps and didn't utilize him much in the offense, man. But every time they did, every time he got the rock, man, every time this boy got the rock, he made some fucking magic. He really did, man. This guy is 6'4", about 250. His yards after catch is actually pretty nice. He has great hands. He has mesmerizing speed. He fights for every damn yard that he wants. He earns every fucking yard by fighting for it. This guy can definitely be, and he's actually a decent blocker as well. So we can bring him in as number 2 behind Vance McDonald, depending on if we sign Jesse James or not, which, eventually that'll be determined in the next coming weeks.
Well, I'd be up for it, but, we still need depth at tight end.
Yes, exactly. So you bring in Isaac Nada, who's not only a decent receiver and can develop into a nice receiver. We can utilize him as a blocker first, but eventually he can develop into a very nice receiver. Maybe in the second or third year he can definitely break out and everything. Well, maybe, depending on how he performs at training camp, man, him and Vince McDonald could be a great 1-2 guy or 1-2 trio.
Exactly.
or a deal, my bad.
Isaac Nada, he is a huge sleeper. Keep an eye out for him.
Yeah, exactly. I really would.
And in the 4th round, we select Sutton Smith, outside linebacker out of Northern Illinois.
Not only would this be depth for the outside linebacker, but, I have a feeling that the Steelers are definitely going to keep Bud Dupree this year. Just to see, how he does in his last year and everything since they claimed the 5th-year option and everything. Now, I hope Dupree shuts me up and has a very nice year, has his best year to date.
Has a breakout year, yeah.
But I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't. And with that being said, Sutton Smith, you can have Sutton Smith or Ola Danny, who I'm not going to sleep on at all. They can definitely battle for a potential starting job down the road, or Sutton Smith eventually could split reps. He could be a very nice third-down linebacker, honestly, for our rushing defense. So, and now this guy is a little undersized and everything, but then again, so was James Harrison. And look what he did for this team. Now, this guy has some nice speed to him. He's a savage off the edge. He's a beast off the edge, man. He can definitely get to the quarterback. He's a very nice tackler. His tackle for losses is pretty impressive as well. If he could, he's actually pretty strong for his size. He's so damn explosive for his size, man. It's freaking crazy.
Exactly.
Imagine if he was taller. But if he were to bulk up a little more and put on a few extra pounds, man, I think this guy could be a dynamic outside linebacker for this team and for this league.
Without a doubt.
Seriously. So, anyway, guys, that was our 4th-round mock. Let us know what you guys' thoughts and comments below, man. We'll be back with another mock probably next week, man. I think the schedule for the mocks is probably going to be 1 or 2 mocks every week leading up to the draft. I think we're going to do 1 mock probably every Wednesday or something like that, kind of like what we did last year before the draft. I think we'll upload 1 mock every Wednesday or something like that. So, yeah, I think that will be the mock schedule. We might have an extra mock here and there, so I would definitely look out for that. But I think that will be our schedule for the mocks this offseason, leading up to the draft and everything, man. Especially with the combine coming up, should be very fun, man. So, let us know you guys' thoughts, comments below. We'll see you guys in the next one.
Like, comment, subscribe. We'll see you later.
Peace!